Discover how one American nurse transformed the life of a billionaire sheikh in just 7 days. The bustling corridors of New York City's Metropolitan Hospital thrummed with urgency, the scent of antiseptic hanging thick in the air. Sarah, a 32-year-old nurse, maneuvered through the sea of patients and doctors, her eyes scanning the room, her heart aflame with determination. As a single mother of 2, she wore her scrubs like armor. Every hour spent caring for others was a step towards securing a better future for her children. Yet, the crushing weight of her student loans and endless bills loomed like a storm cloud overhead. One whirlwind day, the chatter around the hospital caught her attention. A billionaire sheikh, Ibrahim, was being flown in after a life-threatening health emergency. Staff members gossiped excitedly, their eyes wide with visions of wealth and privilege. "He won't care about us," she overheard one nurse say. But Sarah made it her mission to treat everyone, rich or poor, with the utmost compassion. When he arrived, pallid and frail, she saw not a powerful figure, but a man vulnerable and alone. "You'll be okay," she whispered gently, pride swelling in her chest as she focused on his needs. The warmth of her presence seemed to breathe life into him, and as she adjusted his blankets, a little spark ignited in her heart. Someone needs to be here for him, she thought. As days ticked by, they slowly formed a bond. Ibrahim shared his loneliness, the price that came with his fortune. Meanwhile, Sarah poured stories of family dinners, laughter, and the simple joys of raising her children into his ears. Their worlds collided in a tangle of contrasting lives, his filled with unimaginable wealth but void of connection, hers rich with love yet strained by constant struggle. With each whispered conversation, they began to share the simmering frustrations of their realities, awakening a profound sense of empathy. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But then, chaos struck when the hospital management introduced changes that jeopardized the quality of patient care. Sarah, charge nurse and fierce advocate for her colleagues, found herself standing firmly against the pressure to comply. Her heart ached. Would her tenacity cost her the job she desperately needed? Ibrahim watched her with growing admiration, yet in those moments, he grappled with the reality of his privilege. How was it possible that someone with so much could do so little to help? As tension thickened, they realized their paths had pulled them into a pivotal moment. The clock was ticking. Ibrahim pondered whether he could step beyond his gilded cage to support Sarah's impassioned fight for her fellow nurses, while she wrestled with the pull of security she could not afford to overlook. Their lives had intertwined in ways neither had anticipated. What choices would they make as their shared urgency grew? Would compassion transcend privilege, or was their very connection about to face a trial that could tear them apart? As the shadows loomed, an unexpected call to arms was waiting just around the corner, sending ripples through everything they thought they knew. The next morning, Sarah stood at the nurse's station, the weight of yesterday's chaos pressing down on her like a fog. The board was filled with shift changes, patient statuses, and the constant reminders of the pressures they faced. But her heart wasn't in it. Each tick of the clock echoed the uncertainty of the future, and she could feel the tension mounting in her chest. Would she have the courage to confront the administration? Would her fight for better patient care be worth the risk? Ibrahim's room was quiet, a stark contrast to the noise of the rest of the hospital. As she quietly entered, she felt a rush of warmth wash over her. There he was, propped up against the pillows, his skin already looking healthier. The vulnerability from his first few days had transformed into a determination she hadn't expected. His recovery appeared to be about more than just health. It felt like he was rediscovering part of himself. "Good morning," Sarah said softly, her voice barely above a whisper, yet it carried the weight of determination. "Good morning, Sarah," he replied, a smile breaking across his face. "Is it a good day to change the world?" She couldn't help but chuckle, a lightness breaking through her clouded thoughts. If only it was that simple. As they talked, the world outside the room faded away. For a brief moment, they spun dreams of a better hospital, a place where every nurse felt valued, where every patient received the care they deserved. Ibrahim leaned in, invested in her vision, a glimmer of hope shining in his eyes. But reality was never far behind the dream. As Sarah left his room, the hospital corridors felt heavier. At the afternoon meeting, the tension was palpable. Administrators, determined to cut costs, spoke of layoffs, while Sarah's heartbeat quickened with every sentence. Her voice trembled as she finally stood to speak. "We cannot sacrifice patient care for profit. We need more staff, not less." A chill swept through the room. The eyes of her colleagues darted nervously between her and the management. No one spoke. Silence hung like a heavy weight until one nurse finally whispered, "She's right." It was as if sparks ignited the room, enough to shake them from complacency. Conversation swelled, timid at first, but soon transformed into a chorus of voices advocating for their patients and their own livelihoods. Sarah felt each heartbeat, each emotion flowing through them. She could see Ibrahim's face in her mind, feeling the weight of his gaze and support even from afar. Meanwhile, Ibrahim had his own fight to navigate. He had the means to help, but how? He couldn't simply throw money at a problem that required more than just resources. It needed a change of heart. The turmoil of his life flashed through his mind. He couldn't ignore the privilege that had kept him from understanding the struggles of others. He picked up his phone, dialing a trusted connection who could help. "Let me make some calls," he breathed, determination etching itself into his voice. The potential ripple effects of a single decision stretched before him like strands of a web, each interconnected, each holding the potential for profound change. As Sarah faced the uncertainty of the administration, and Ibrahim prepared to forge his path of advocacy, they were both fueled by the same question: what impact could they truly have together? With uncertainty hanging over them, they stood at the precipice of a transformation neither had ever anticipated. What shift would this unity bring? And could their newfound partnership withstand the trials that loomed just beyond the horizon? The sun broke through the hospital windows, signaling a new day filled with fresh possibilities. Sarah woke early, an unfamiliar energy coursing through her veins. Last night's meeting still echoed in her mind, but this time, she could almost feel the weight of hope lifting the fog. She couldn't shake the sensation that something had changed not just for her, but for everyone. As she gathered her things for her shift, her thoughts drifted to Ibrahim. Their conversations felt like sharing a secret language, a commitment to improve their world, one small step at a time. If he could find a way to help, maybe she could rally the team around a new vision for patient care. Stepping into the hospital, she was ready to face the day. The familiar chaos greeted her, but this time, it didn't feel quite as heavy. She approached the nurses' station, where a group of colleagues huddled together, voices low and anxious. Sarah joined them, curious about the buzz. "Did you hear about the fundraising event?" One nurse asked, her eyes wide with excitement. "If we could get some big donors on board, it might change everything." "What kind of event?" Sarah questioned, leaning in closer. A shift towards advocacy seemed to be brewing, and she was eager to ride the wave. "A community gala, but we need ideas to make it worthwhile. We need something that captures people's hearts." The nurse sighed, her hope dimming for a moment. Because we can't keep relying on the same faces to step up. The moment was right. Sarah felt the fire within her spark again. "What if we highlight the stories? The real experiences of our patients? Instead of just showcasing numbers, let us show the human side of caring. Everyone has a story. What if we shared them?" Collective murmurs of interest filled the space. Sarah's pulse quickened. She imagined Ibrahim's journey unfolding in front of an audience, a narrative fueled by struggle and resilience. If they could make the donors feel that connection, it could compel them to invest in better care. "What will we call it?" A fellow nurse mused, visibly brightening at the idea. "Stories of Hope," Sarah suggested, her voice laced with excitement. "We'll share moments of triumph and the value of genuine care. It's not just about funds, it's about dropping the walls between us and creating a community spirit." As the nurses began discussing ideas and stories, Sarah's heart swelled with pride. They were coming alive. Ibrahim's transformation was no longer just his fight, this was a collective battle for every patient walking through those doors. Meanwhile, Ibrahim sat at the edge of his bed, pacing in his thoughts. His phone had been buzzing with messages, and after some time, a familiar voice on the line broke through. "Ibrahim, this is a big step. I can speak with some influential contacts, but they need to see the impact on the community. Show them why it matters." "I have a nurse with a vision," Ibrahim replied, the warmth of conviction igniting in his chest. "She wants to share the stories of patients. We can elevate their voices, give them a platform. That'll draw them in, I know it." He could almost see Sarah's hopeful expression as he spoke. He recognized the strength in her determination, and it fueled his own. That afternoon, Sarah found a spare moment to check her phone. A message from Ibrahim lit up the screen. "Ready for a call?" Immediately, her excitement soared. They were in this together, and the synergy between them promised a force to be reckoned with. But just as she was about to type a response, the hospital intercom crackled to life, announcing a major crisis in the ER. The words sent a ripple of dread through her. This challenge threatened everything they were trying to build. How would they push forward now? As the weight of uncertainty fell back on her, Sarah wondered if this crisis would strengthen their resolve or tear it apart. What would be the true test of their partnership, especially now? The sudden announcement shuddered through the hospital halls like an electric jolt. Sarah's heart pounded as she glanced around the nurses' station. Faces shifted from excitement to worry in an instant. The community gala, the Stories of Hope initiative, all of it could vanish with a single moment of chaos. "Let us go," a nurse shouted, breaking the spell and rallying the team. Sarah felt adrenaline rush through her. She pushed her concerns to the back of her mind. There was work to do, and she knew exactly where she needed to be. The ER was already buzzing with energy. Doctors barked orders, and nurses scrambled to support them. Sarah dove right in, her training kicking in as she greeted patients with focused calm. One after another, they entered, each with a different story, each struggling in their own way. "Get the triage nurse," she heard someone call, panicked under the pressure. Blood pressure cuff in one hand and a clipboard in the other, Sarah rushed to assist. She caught a glimpse of Ibrahim in a corner of the room, frantically weaving through bodies and chaos. Their eyes locked, for just a fleeting second, and Sarah felt a little spark of hope in the madness. "I've got you," she shouted over the din, shoving aside worries. Ibrahim nodded, determination radiating from his stance. That silent exchange gave her strength. Together, they navigated each emergency, prioritizing care and comfort, the quiet bond of teamwork echoing between them. Minutes turned into a blur as they worked side by side, but each patient they encountered felt like a reminder of why they were here. As Sarah gently bandaged a child's scraped knee, she experienced a fleeting moment of clarity. In this whirlwind, she saw the power of shared stories, the essence of healing. Not just physical, but emotional, too. Finally, as the storm settled, leaving behind exhausted but victorious smiles, Sarah caught her breath. The crisis had brought out a raw, resilient beauty. They had managed to help. The stories, those real, vulnerable moments, they would be the heart of stories of hope. As the dust began to clear, Sarah glanced at Ibrahim. His eyes told tales of both struggle and triumph. They had both faced a storm today, together. But just when they thought relief was coming, the hospital intercom crackled again. "Attention, staff. We have an urgent situation regarding a high-profile patient. All available resources to room 302. Sarah's stomach dropped. High profile? In her gut, she felt a knot tighten. Was this another emergency? Was the gala slipping further away? She spun towards Ibrahim, who had already taken a deep breath, readying himself for whatever lay ahead. "Do you think?" Sarah hesitated, uncertainty flickering across her face. "Do you think this could change everything?" Biting her lip, she realized how precarious their mission felt. The stakes were higher than ever, and every patient mattered. But a high-profile patient could mean attention and opportunity to capture the community's heart. Could this be the turning point they needed? As they exchanged knowing glances, determination mixed with anxiety. Their partnership, forged in the fires of the ER, could be the key to unearthing the true meaning behind the gala. What if the next step was more than just healing? What if they could channel this moment into something extraordinary? Gulping back a wave of apprehension, Sarah whispered, "Let us find out." United in purpose, they rushed toward room 302, the thrill of uncertainty driving them. Would they be ready to handle whatever awaited them next? Only time would tell. As they approached room 302, Sarah's heart raced wildly in her chest. The corridor was quiet yet charged with anticipation. White walls glared harshly under fluorescent lights, and every step echoed like a countdown to an unknown climax. Ibrahim pushed open the door, revealing a scene that took their breath away. The room was luxuriously furnished, starkly contrasting the typical hospital setting. A man lay on a plush bed, wires and monitors weaving around him like a delicate web. He was older, maybe in his 60s, with an air of authority that was almost palpable, even in his vulnerable state. "Dr. Khan," Sarah whispered, recognizing the famed physician who was already prepping for the situation. "Sarah, Ibrahim, thank you for coming," he said without looking up. "This is Sheikh Rashid. He has a critical condition, but he'll need more than just physical healing. It's urgent and complicated." Sarah nodded, adrenaline amplifying her focus. She took her position next to Ibrahim as they waited for Dr. Khan to brief them on the details. "The Sheikh has slipped into a coma," Dr. Khan explained, finally meeting their eyes. "We need to stabilize him and find a way to bring him back. The challenges will be more than medical. They relate to his faith and psyche. Family matters, expectations, a world of pressure." Sarah felt a jolt of recognition wash over her. "His family," she murmured. "They need to be involved. Stories are not only for the patients, they're for their families too." "Exactly," Dr. Khan replied. "They must understand the healing process, connect with him even in this state. We'll need all hands on deck." The challenge ahead thundered in Sarah's heart. This wasn't just about saving a life, it was about preserving a legacy. As the team worked, tension simmered in the air. Blood bags hung like heavy clouds, the beeping monitors punctuating whispers of worried conversations. Ibrahim was in his element, guiding the flow, rallying nurses and assistants. Sarah found herself at the Sheikh's side, gently adjusting the blankets, connecting through fleeting moments. She reached for his hand, a small act but filled with intention. "Your stories, Sheikh, they matter." She spoke softly, feeling the warmth of his skin. "You are not just a patient. You're a voice for so many." Hours passed in a blur of shifts and teamwork. Each intervention sparked urgency and emotion within the room. But soon, exhaustion settled in. A storm of worries brewed. What if they couldn't pull him back? Sarah paced the edge of the room, heart heavy with the upcoming gala. What if we can't bring him back before the event? She questioned Ibrahim, the concern in her voice unmistakable. "Everything we've worked for, we can't let that dictate our care," he replied firmly. "What matters right now is him. One patient, one story at a time. If we help him, the gala will take care of itself. We're making these moments matter." Just then, the Sheikh's monitor beeped, changing rhythms suddenly. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. "Is he?" She barely managed to ask, her stomach twisting into knots. Dr. Khan rushed forward as the team shuffled closer, hearts racing. "Stay focused, everyone. We have to respond now." A shocking stillness enveloped the room. Would their efforts bear fruit? Would they bring him back from the edge? But as they collectively leaned in, shadows flickering between hope and despair, Sarah realized something profound within herself. This journey was more than just about helping one person. It was a testament to the strength of community, the threads of stories tying them all together. And then it hit her: what lay ahead could truly change everything. Could they discover a new path through the Sheikh story? Or would this be a moment forever shrouded in uncertainty? As they rallied around the Sheikh, the answer loomed just out of reach, waiting to be unraveled. The tension in room 302 thickened as the beeping of the monitor fluctuated erratically. Sarah could feel the weight of the room pressing down on her, a mix of anxiety, hope, and desperation swirling around her. She watched Dr. Khan's focused expression as he leaned closer to the Sheikh, hands poised to take action. "What's happening?" A nurse's voice cracked through the silence. "Stay calm. We need to stabilize his vitals," Dr. Khan instructed. "Get ready to administer another round of medication." Sarah's heart raced as she held the Sheikh's hand tighter. She believed in every word she spoke to him, and somehow, she felt he could hear her. "We're all here, Sheikh Rashid. You're not alone. Fight for your story." With a flurry of activity, the medical team moved as one, a dance choreographed by urgency. Sarah's eyes darted between their focused faces, the steady rhythm of palms against equipment, the chorus of commands issued in hushed tones. There was something electric in the air, a collective understanding that each moment counted. Suddenly, Ibrahim put his hand on Sarah's shoulder, grounding her. "Let us try a different approach," he said, leaning closer. "Maybe it's time to bring in his family." Sarah hesitated. How could she introduce them to such chaos? But Ibrahim was right. Families had power, they brought comfort. "Okay, let us reach out. They should be here." Moments felt like hours. With a swift move, Sarah grabbed her phone and stepped outside for a breath of fresh air. The fluorescent lights, the sounds of machines, everything felt overwhelming. She dialed the Sheikh's family, praying they would come quickly. When she returned, the energy felt different. The Sheikh's breathing was still labored, but the room now buzzed with the anticipation of his family arriving. Ibrahim continued to facilitate the doctors and nurses while Sarah prepared for the moments to come. Minutes later, the family flooded in, an impressive presence, elegant and formidable, filled with hushed whispers and awe. The Sheikh's eldest son, with his sharp features and anxious eyes, locked onto Sarah. "What's happening?" he asked, urgency lacing his words. "Your father needs you to connect with him. Talk to him, share stories. Remind him of who he is," Sarah urged, her voice steady, yet filled with empathy. As the son approached his father's bedside, the rest of the family circled, creating a protective perimeter of love and strength. Suddenly, their voices broke through the sterile environment, the son spilling stories of joy and laughter, weaving a tapestry of memories. "Remember when we traveled to the mountains, Baba? You taught me to fly a kite on that windy day." Hope flickered in the air as their voices entwined, gently pulling the Sheikh back from the abyss. Sarah felt a shift in the atmosphere, and energy that coursed through her too. She realized Ibrahim was right, they were healing not just a man, but a legacy built on community and stories longing to be told. But in that very moment, the machine connected to the Sheikh gave off a soft, steady beep. His eyes fluttered, just for an instant, but it sent spirals of emotion racing through the family and the medical team. "Did you see that?" Ibrahim whispered, hope blooming in his chest. "Yes, I did," Sarah exclaimed, unable to contain her smile. As the Sheikh's eyelids twitched, uncertainty mingled with newfound hope. Was he awakening? Was the revival of his stories enough to bridge the chasm? Just as urgency electrified the room again, a faint voice emerged from the Sheikh's lips, a whisper laden with unspoken words. What would it say? The question loomed, and Sarah held her breath, anticipating the revelation of a lifetime. Would the stories they shared spur him back into the world? Would they uncover truths hidden for so long? As the hope grew, so did the intertwining fates of a nurse and a sheikh whose lives were just beginning to meld together. Now, it was time to learn if the words spoken would hold the power to change everything. The sheikh's eyes fluttered again, but his voice didn't emerge. Instead, his lips parted slightly as if holding onto some secret that had yet to be shared. The medical team held their breath, as did Sarah. She felt her heart synchronize with the quiet beeping of the monitor, a strange rhythm of anticipation filling the room. Baba, the eldest son, leaned closer, his voice shaking. Please, come back to us. We need you. His eyes glistened with unspilled tears. The family was like a fortress around the bed, closing in tight, squeezing hope into the Sheikh's silent embrace. Dr. Khan adjusted the four with practiced ease. We need to maintain this momentum. Keep speaking to him. The urgency in his command made the air thick. Hope was stitched to every word. I remember the time we caught that giant fish on the coast. The son continued, now animated. You had the biggest grin on your face. You said it's all about patience and letting the waves guide you. Everyone leaned in, the surrounding energy pulsing. The story stitched the silence into comfort, and the Sheikh's fingers twitched ever so slightly under Sarah's gentle grip. Encouraged, Sarah took a breath, adding her own thoughts. Sheikh Rashid, your stories are what guide the rest of us. Her voice quivered but remained unwavering. You've inspired so many. Don't stop fighting. Show us your strength. At that moment, an electric charge surged in the room, the weight of unspoken bonds pressing against the walls. The Sheikh's breathing shifted, a deeper inhale followed by a shaky exhale. Look! Ibrahim burst out. His heart rate at stabilizing. A flicker of determination ignited on his face, contagious, as everyone caught onto the growing elation. Sarah's affection for the Sheikh deepened. It was more than just a fleeting connection, it was a shared human experience. Didn't every story deserve to be told? Didn't every soul deserve a fight? Then, in the midst of that collective hope, the Sheikh's eyes cracked open. A thin line of confusion crossed his brow. He was back from the brink, though still lost in the haze of liminality. Baba. His son's voice quivered with excitement but also fear. Can you hear me? There was a pause, a stillness that felt too long. Sarah felt goosebumps race up her arms as the Sheikh blinked slowly, his gaze locking onto his son. He opened his mouth again, but all that came out was a feeble whisper. Family? A gasp swept through the family like a live wire, a gasp filled with disbelief and joy. The walls reverberated a quiet surge of relief. Yes, Baba. It's us. His son stepped closer, eyes now flooding with the release of pent-up emotions. We're right here. But just as the room lit up with hope, the monitor gave a quick, erratic beep that sent everyone's heart back to their throats. Dr. Khan's brow furrowed, resuming his calm air as he leaned closer. We need to keep him calm. Don't overwhelm him just yet. The emotional roller coaster was intense, like a flickering light bulb, a mixture of relief and dread. After all that work, was it too soon? Sarah touched the Sheikh's hand again, feeling the warmth of life beneath her fingers. You're safe, she whispered, resonating the truth in that moment. We're all here waiting for you. But just as the answer to their prayers felt palpable, the Sheikh's gaze darted away, staring at something beyond the room, a distant memory, perhaps, or a secret hidden within his own mind. What's happening inside him? Sarah thought, her heart racing. What awaited him in the shadows of his own history? The struggle to hold on to hope became more difficult. With every pulse from the machine and every flicker of uncertainty in the Sheikh's eyes, another layer of questions arose. Would he remember the stories that had shaped his life? Or was there something darker yet to be uncovered? The unfolding moments were thick with emotion and laden with mystery. Would they be able to bring him back from the silence, or would the shadows hold fast against the stories of the light? Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the Sheikh's expression change, confusion morphing into something deeper, almost sorrowful. She held her breath, wanting to bridge the distance between him and whatever ghost haunted his gaze. The room felt both stifling and fragile, as though they were all balancing on a thin line, teetering between hope and despair. Baba, please, his son pleaded softly, crouching by the bed. You had so much left to give us. Remember the stories you promised to pass down? Dr. Khan adjusted his glasses, meticulously studying the monitor again. We need a moment of calm, but keep talking. It's the only way to draw him back. The family rallied around, their voices growing steadier. They reminisced about summers spent in the sun, laughing over shared meals, and late-night talks that felt like sacred rituals. Each tale was woven with threads of love, nostalgia, and determination. "I remember," the Sheikh murmured suddenly, his voice barely above a whisper. They all leaned in, their faces illuminated by a flicker of joy. "Yes? What do you remember, Baba?" His son coaxed, encouraging him. "I remember the garden," the Sheikh said, his brow furrowing as if struggling with a half-formed thought. "The flowers, the scent of jasmine." A faint smile emerged, but it was accompanied by lines of worry etched into his skin like the very shadows that clouded his eyes. "Your garden was beautiful," Sarah interjected gently, wanting to hold on to this moment. "Full of life. Just like you." She squeezed his hand, feeling the warmth thrumming through them. "Jasmine," he breathed, almost as if the flower's name drew him further, a tether to the living world. But in that instant, the light of recognition in his eyes flickered out. His gaze drifted again, lost in the distance, as if reaching for memories he couldn't grasp. A chill swept through the room, knotting fear in Sarah's stomach. What if he slips away again? "Stay with us, Baba," his son urged, desperation creeping into his voice. "You're not going anywhere." Suddenly, the monitor's beeping quickened, and Dr. Khan snapped into action. "Hold on. We need to limit the overstimulation. Let him breathe." His calm tone masked the urgency of the situation, but Sarah could see it, his fingers pressed against the event chart, calculating, anticipating. They all hushed, a collective exhale drowning out the electronic hum of the machines. Pedro, the youngest son, began to hum a soothing melody that had always calmed their father during storms. It was a simple lullaby, one of warmth and love that seeped into the cold air of the room, bringing forth a shared memory. "Baba, listen," his son whispered, joining in softly. "We're all here, your family. Just like all those nights when you held us close. Remember?" The Sheikh's eyelids fluttered as if fighting an internal battle. Would he return fully? Was he still tethered to the reality where their laughter echoed? His breaths came slow and steady again, each inhale a plea for strength, each exhale a soft release of tension. "I see," he started, but the uncertainty returned, and he winced. "What are you saying?" "Please, Baba, keep talking," Sarah urged desperately. Memory, it's tangled, he struggled with the words, a flicker in his eyes revealing a deeper story yet untold. It was as if they were standing on the threshold of something monumental, the impending revelation just within reach. Would he find a way back to them, or pull the curtain to reveal secrets he had long buried? Fear gripped Sarah's heart, but so did a fierce yearning. Was this the moment that would shatter the silence once and for all? Just as the tension peaked, a knock echoed from the door. It shattered the fragile calm, an unexpected interruption that sent a ripple through the air. "Who is it?" Dr. Khan barked, diverting his focus. Everyone turned towards the door, hearts skipping again. What new challenge awaited them in this uncertain journey of healing? What awaited the Sheikh inside the tangled web of his past? The door creaked open, and a wave of uncertainty flooded the room. A nurse stepped inside, her green scrubs crisp and professional, but her expression betrayed a hint of concern. Behind her, another figure loomed, tall and imposing, the silhouette of an older man who carried an air of authority. "Dr. Khan," the nurse said quickly, "we have a situation. There's a visitor. He insists on seeing Sheikh Tariq immediately, and I don't think we can refuse him." Her voice was steady, but Sarah caught the slight tremor of apprehension behind her calm facade. Dr. Khan looked from the nurse to the Sheikh, who was still caught in the web of his elusive memories. "A visitor? Now?" He wiped a hand down his face, clearly annoyed. "Look, we can't let anyone disturb this moment." "He south so close, we're already in a delicate state," the nurse interjected gently. "But he's persuasive." She paused, glancing at the door as if weighing the implications of the man on the other side. "I think it's best we hear him out." Sarah's stomach twisted. Who could this person be, and why did it feel like the air around them was thickening with the weight of whatever news he might bring? The Sheikh's family had been fighting tooth and nail to unearth his past, to bridge the fading connection between them, but they were unprepared for potential new revelations. Just then, the door swung open wider, revealing the visitor. An elegant man in a tailored suit stepped inside, his demeanor commanding. His dark hair was slicked back, and his eyes glinted with an unsettling mixture of arrogance and warmth. Sarah felt her heart race. She had never seen the Sheikh react to anyone this way, but there was a flicker of recognition in his gaze, as if the floodgates of old memories were poised to burst. "Ah, Sheikh Tariq," the man began, his voice deep and resonant, breaking the tension like glass shattering on tile. "It has been too long." Sarah glanced at the Sheikh's family, their faces masks of confusion tinged with fear. This visitor didn't just walk in, he had arrived as if summoned from the shadows of the Sheikh's past. Would re-entering this past push him deeper into the abyss of recollection, or would it drag him further into despair? "Who are you?" the Sheikh's son asked, his voice firm but trembling. "What do you want with my father?" The man stepped closer to the bedside, unfazed by the emotions playing out around them. "I'm an old friend, and I've come to help." "Help?" Pedro whispered, his youthful innocence clashing with the heavy tension. Would this man be the key to unlocking their father's memories, or was he simply another storm on the horizon? With the air thick with uncertainty, the Sheikh's grip on Sarah's hand tightened. There was something brewing in his gaze, a hope mixed with fear. She felt as if they were all teetering on the edge of a cliff, one push away from either salvation or disaster. "But you don't understand," the visitor continued, his voice low and intense. "There are things you don't know, secrets that have been buried for far too long." As he spoke, but Sarah found herself breathless, on the precipice of transformation. What hidden truths would emerge in the wake of this unexpected encounter? The room buzzed with tension, and all eyes were glued to the new arrival. Would this be the game-changer they desperately needed, or the catalyst for their darkest fears? In that fraught moment, Sarah felt the racing pulse of possibility. What truths lay hidden in this stranger's words? What did he know about the man who lay before them, and what revelations might unfold when the echoes of the past surfaced? The room fell silent, every heartbeat sinking with the faint beeping of the monitors. Sarah's gaze never wavered from the mysterious visitor. Who was this man that spoke of buried secrets with such unapologetic confidence? Every shared glance among the Sheikh's family revealed the mixture of curiosity and dread that filled their hearts. "I know your father, the true man behind all the wealth and power," the visitor claimed, his eyes narrowing slightly at the Sheikh. "But the memory you seek, the memories he has lost, they are not lost altogether. They just need a nudge." "Stop!" the eldest son shouted, his voice echoing through the room. "You think you can just waltz in here after all this time and help him? Who do you think you are?" "I'm someone who cared deeply for Sheikh Tariq when he was still himself," the man replied, without flinching. "Before the money and the status consumed him. He hasn't been able to face the truth, and I can help him." The Sheikh's breath quickened, a surge of recognition crossing his features. Sarah felt it, too, the atmosphere shifting, a storm brewing just beneath the calm. "You don't need to accept his help, your family is here. We're all fighting for you," Sarah urged, gripping the Sheikh's hand even tighter. "I can help you remember your garden," the man continued, locking eyes with the Sheikh. "The jasmine, the laughter of your children, the moments where it didn't matter who you were or how much power you had. The garden where you were free." A flicker of recognition illuminated the Sheikh's gaze, as if the clouds of his mind were beginning to part. For a brief moment, nostalgia replaced confusion, those memories swinging into focus, but the darkness quickly returned. "It's too late," he whispered brokenly. "Not if you fight for it," the visitor countered, stepping forward, locking him in his gaze, unwavering. "Only you can reclaim your legacy and rewrite your story." Silence enveloped the room, each heartbeat growing louder. The family shifted anxiously, both captivated and terrified by the prospect this stranger presented. "What do we do?" Sarah whispered to Ibrahim, her heart racing. He met her gaze, resolute. "We allow him to speak, but we stand united as a family. No more secrets. Only truth." The Sheikh nodded slowly, the emotional barrier fracturing just enough to let his vulnerability seep through. "Tell me about the garden," he murmured, the tremor haunting his voice. With palpable anticipation, the visitor began to share tales of a past that interwove loyalty and friendship, laughter and love. The Sheikh's eyes drifted between the visitor and his family. Despite the chaos, the simple act of sharing memories ignited something within him. "Remember the laughter of your children running through those blooms?" the visitor asked, gently coaxing him back to a place of warmth. "And the silly game you played under the stars? It was there you found purpose, not just the wealth. You instilled love, not just riches." Each word seemed to ignite a long-forgotten spark, rekindling the stories buried beneath layers of turmoil. The Sheikh's breaths deepened, slow and steady as fragments of memory rose from the depths. He remembered the garden's enchanting fragrance, the joy of family, and the man he used to be. I want to remember," he strained against the words, his gaze locked with his son's tear-streaked face. "Then fight for it, Baba." His son pleaded, "We're all here for you. Your stories are our stories." The visitor smiled gently, warmth replacing the earlier tension. "You'll find the way back, Sheikh Tariq. Witnessing the roots of who you are will bring you home." Just then, Sarah noticed a change. The monitors began to stabilize, the Sheikh's heartbeat steadying. He was awakening, piece by piece, reclaiming the essence of himself. For every story shared, a bond solidified, and the fragments of fear splintered away into something unfamiliar and beautiful. In that moment, hope reflected through the family's eyes, casting light on the shadows that had once enveloped them all. As the Sheikh spoke of the garden, tales of joy and love flowed forth between them, binding them tighter than before. "The jasmine, it was always my favorite. My children, my life, my wealth meant nothing without them." The weight of his past collided with the influence of his present, twisting into this very moment, untangling the complexities of privilege and compassion together in front of him. And there, amidst the laughter and reclaimed memories, a profound truth emerged. Each story, fragile yet indomitable, was a testament to resilience and belonging. Sarah's heart swelled as she saw the collective transformation unfold, a healing process that transcended individual struggles and worlds. She realized their journey had only begun, but they now stood stronger, united in purpose. As the visitor nodded his satisfaction, Sarah exchanged glances with Ibrahim. A knowing smile tugged at her lips, one shared between allies, forged in the heat of adversity. The room brimmed with life, a happy chaos reflective of familial love, as new stories began to emerge, intertwining lives into a magnificent tapestry of hope. With every heartbeat and sound, the past and the present reconciled, the journey forward now promising an authentic legacy. United together, they stepped out of the shadows and embraced the light. This was their moment, a culmination of trials transforming into triumph. They were not just reclaiming a story, they were writing a new chapter of renewal and deep connection, echoing with compassion. And now, dear viewers, this is your own call to action. You need to subscribe now to witness more exclusive stories like this one that inspire and transform. Leave a like now to support the channel and fuel the algorithm that brings these uplifting narratives to everyone. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your thoughts matter. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who you know need to see this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. Only true fans understand the power of these actions.